Hello everyone. So today we are planning out these raised beds. Stay tuned. I am out in the garden today, and today we're just going to start planting some of these raised beds. So I am just working with just myself, so I may have to bring you in after I'm done. I'm going to try to prop my camera up a little bit just so that we can get one or two on camera, but it's just me out here today. So this is what we're doing. Okay, so this is my fertilizer blend that I put together. No particular brand. I just combine different types of blood meal and bone meal. So if you have a particular preference, just use it. I don't suggest any particular brand. But it's crucial when I'm transplanting that I feel like you should add some fertilizer to all of your plants. But for me, primarily heavy feeders. Since I'm primarily doing brassicas today, which would be broccoli and cabbage, both of those are heavy feeders. So I would definitely suggest adding additional fertilizer along the way, as well as when you're initially transplanting. To me, it makes a big difference when you do. And so this is my cabbage my Red Acre cabbage, or like a Red Express. These don't get super large. They do get a nice head, but they're not a super huge plant. Unlike your Savoys, they get pretty big. The Red Acres are not that big. They don't grow that big. But I still put a lot of fertilizer in them because they still are heavy feeders. Even Brussels, they, to me, are the heaviest of the brassica family when it comes to fertilizing. You should definitely heavily fertilize your Brussels if you're planting any of those. But what I like to do is I always like to create a little mound under my brassicas to hold their stems up. This is a fairly smaller plant, so it doesn't have to have a large mound. But as I get to my broccolis, those I would definitely do a larger mound for, because the seedlings are a lot taller and the stems, of course, are going to grow tall. So I like to start them off with a good mound so that they could have that extra support against the wind. And the reason why I just wanted to go back for a moment. The reason why I chose that blend of fertilizer is, even though these seedlings have beautiful roots, healthy roots, I still want them to, to expand their roots and have a stronger root system to support the weight of the plant and to be able to feed that plant as it matures and everything. So this is why I suggest ensuring that you add a good root stimulator, root development into your fertilizer blend, as well as, of course, additional worm castings and different other fertilizers and compost to this. There was some compost already that I use for my tabletop composter that grinds it into that into like that powder, but I always add additional compost to it. Even though this bed is saturated with worms, I still add additional compost. And as you saw, this is the Sun King broccoli. This grows really well for me. As far as the head itself, it's an average size head when it grows, but I do like it. It doesn't give me any problems as far as any head deformities or just different things. It's a really easy growing broccoli plant. Now, I will also suggest that, because I'm planting obviously in March. See, there we go. This bed versus the other one that I'm going to plant has a lot of earthworms in it. I'm always very delicate in when I'm using my trowel to not, to be careful because I know they're in there. They're saturated with it, and I love every moment of it. Going back to the broccolis, because I'm planting out in March, I just want to point out that out here in Chicago, it's very, very windy. And if you have plant supports, use them for your broccoli so that they don't break, because I can promise you this much. The wind gets so bad out here that if you don't plant them super deep, or at least put a mound around them, I have come out to my stems being broke. That is the Burgundy broccoli. That one grows similar to the Sun King, as well as the DICICCO. I know I'm not the only one that has trouble with that pronunciation, but to me, all three of those grow kind of similar to each other. The Green Magic, to me, grows a larger head, in my opinion, than these three: the Burgundy, the Sun King, and the DeSico. Is that what it's called? The DeSico? The Green Magic does. But all four of those varieties do really well for me. The Arcadia that I sometimes grow, for some reason, it always gets attacked by aphids. I don't know. I'm not saying that the aphids only attack the Arcadia, but it's the first that they attack for some reason. So I don't know. And I do try to grow it a lot. I do like the taste of it, but for some reason, I don't know. It's the aphids usually go directly after my Arcadia broccoli, but I don't know. I have to look that up and see if there's something that they're attracted to in that particular plant. And aesthetically, both beds would be planted ideally exactly the same. Different varieties of broccoli, because I like to just grow different ones to see how they grow in each bed. I don't want to put the same, so it'll be 4 different varieties. But these garden beds that I'm planting in are the 4 by 2 by 1, 4 feet long, 2 feet wide, and 1 feet tall. They're growing. I'm going to plant them out exactly the same. These are the garden beds that I got from either Temu or Amazon. I think maybe 1 and 1. I think I got 1 from Amazon and 1 from Temu. So I'd like to plant them exactly the same, so they kind of grow aesthetically the same. Plus, it helps me see, it is 2 different soil blends in these beds, but in the past they've grown exactly the same. So I will see, but it does help me see if something is going to grow a little better than the other. And my spinach. This spinach has been giving me a lot of problems since I started these plants from seed. Everything out here I grew in my seed room from seed. I don't buy any transplants. I plant everything. I start everything from seed. And my seed room, I keep it on average anywhere between 60 to 75, and sometimes it got up to 83, just from even my home itself and the heat seeping through to the seed room. And I will sometimes open the door, and of course there's ventilation, but the broccoli seemed to want to bolt immediately. So I don't expect much from this broccoli. Broccoli. Why do I keep saying broccoli? From this spinach. The Corintha spinach and the Bloomsdale. Immediately when I started it from seed, as soon as it got its first set of true leaves, maybe the second set, I'll say that, it started trying to bolt. So I would sit it outside periodically, because broccoli loves 20, 30, 40 degree weather. It does not like anything, in my opinion, it doesn't like anything above anything above 65 degrees. And that my seed room does fluctuate. And so it immediately starts flowering. I have no clue why it just kept doing that. More plants than not did. And I planted about 40 different spinach plants, because I like to, cook the spinach and put spinach in smoothies and saute it. So I need tons of spinach, because I can eat spinach every day. So I grew a lot. And half of them constantly tried to bolt. So I don't have high hopes for these spinaches, but we'll see. I've already started new seeds just in case these just don't want to, do right. They don't take that long to mature. But I wanted them, I tried to stunt the growth a little bit by taking them away from the grow lights and keeping them in full shade, and they're still growing. So we'll see. I don't have high hopes for them though. But so in this bed I'll have on either side, it will be both the Red Acre cabbage and then 2 broccoli plants, 4 spinach plants, and 3 lettuce, different types of lettuce that I'll plant. That's kind of the look I want to go for these for my spring grow season. Of course, in the summer, these will be completely different plants, but I'm trying to see what I like best and stick with it. But of course, I'm always changing my mind. So who knows? Next spring, it might be something different, but I'm trying to have my little plan planned out so that I know what to plant and where to plant it every year versus trying to constantly change everything up, because I have so many different garden beds and I plant so much. I just really want to kind of have the same thing going on. And if I add something new, then maybe make some adjustments, but we'll see. We'll see. And again, these are the ones that I'm planting are the Bloomsdale and the Corintha. Am I saying that right? Corintha spinach. And I believe these particular spinach seeds, I purchased these these are not from Etsy. These are either from, they're either Johnny's or they're Haas. I'm not sure which ones, but I still love both brands, but we'll see how they do. Fingers are crossed here. Fingers are crossed. And I want to point out something also regarding the seed starter tray that blueberry the green stalk seed starting trays. I'm an avid, huge fan of green stalks, but I don't think I particularly like these starter trays, and maybe it's me. I'm trying to like them, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about them. My plants seem to have a lot of issues when I'm using them. I'll be honest about that. Though I do like growing certain plants in them, I'll say. Other ones I do not. And I've tried doing them with the dome, without the dome. I don't know. It's I haven't mastered it yet, so maybe that's my frustration. I'm definitely going to keep trying. I'm definitely going to do. So we'll see. Now I want you to see this bed here. Sorry for the angle of my camera because I was trying to prop it up. But what I'm mixing in, it looks like vermiculite, but it's not. That is that tabletop compost that comes from my indoor composter. When we're done with our any leftovers we have, vegetables and eggs and different things, it turns that I put it into this little machine and it turns it into like this grain consistency. That's what you see me mix it in. So in addition to mushroom compost that I add to every bed, that is the other compost that I use from food scraps that have already been pretty much dehydrated, as I'll call it, and turned into that grain. So the other bed, that one was already pre-mixed in before filming. This one I didn't do, so this is why I'm blending that one in. I thought that I had added this compost previously until I realized the scent that it gives off with the compost is very strong. It's not a bad smell or anything, but it's very strong. And I noticed that when I came out to add those other raised beds out, that I could not smell anything in the air. Normally I can when I add fresh compost, and I couldn't. So I was actually pretty late because I usually like to let it sit for a little while. But I did add that compost to it 2 days prior to this filming. So if you could imagine, I wonder, I'm trying to describe the smell to you, and it's not, like I said, it's not a bad smell, but it's definitely that composting smell that is very strong in the air. And I knew immediately that I forgot to add that when I didn't smell it. And so again, just adding that fertilizer blend to the bottom. I don't place the plants directly over the fertilizer that I'm adding. I usually add it, and then on top add more soil, so that, not that nothing in there will burn the plants, but I just like to, give it that extra layer before transplanting, just to keep it safe. And so here, those are my Paris Islands that have been growing beautifully in my seed room. They were so pretty. They were a pretty gorgeous plant. I almost didn't want to disturb them. They look so pretty. But I am gonna let them grow to their full potential. They can get pretty big, and that's what I do like about the Paris Islands. So fingers crossed that they'll do well outside. And pretty much just like that, it's all set. I try to get my plants done within, particularly, try to spend about an hour out there, but there you have it. All right, everyone. Happy growing.